Good morning, my name's Stuart. I was until recently the regional workforce coordinator for the West Midlands, working on the Future Social project. Read my reviews, they were great. And now I'm founding consultant of Vric Consulting, providing interfacing and consulting service in the matter of children's services workforce to both private and public sector clients. And we've recently received a letter, and the letter says, "Dear Steve, we are a local authority with an ambition to be fully staffed with children's social workers as soon as we can." Very noble aim. How can we use the data in the DFE's annual social worker statistics to help us in our aim? And aim is a very key point there, we'll come on to that. So I'm going to show you a couple of things, one from your local perspective that you need to address, need to consider, and one from a more strategic, regional and inter-regional kind of aspect. So if you put in children's social work workforce and statistics into Google DFE, you will come up with this page. And if you scroll down a little bit, you will see how there are the statistics going back a number of years, and this is providing census coverage of the local authority employed workforce and a snapshot of agency workers employed by local authorities at the 30th of September. So that's nearly 6 months ago. And you'll see that this then gets aggregated and crunched and put together, a number of things, and you come up with a number of these things that normally come out the last week in February. Okay, so if you look at the table, open up one of those spreadsheets and you'll see something like that, and you'll see at the tabs all the different spreadsheets that are out there. What I'm going to ask you to do is look specifically at tab number 2 for the first easy thing that you can do. And if you open up tab number 2, you get a spreadsheet that looks like this. And the one areas in bold are aggregated figures, so there's one at the top just for England altogether, and then you've got the Northeast with all of the councils under there, and then Northwest involved with all the Northwest councils under there. And if you scroll down, you come to the other regions as well. Now, first thing I'm going to ask you to look at is to look at column N, and this is for your own figures. Find yourself and look at column N, which is the number of vacancies at the 30th of September. The next thing you need to look at is column G, which is your number of leavers during the year ending September 2019. And this is the single most important thing you can do if you have an aim to be fully staffed. Because if you take your number of vacancies and you add them to your number of leavers, what have you got? What you have got is a target. Before you had an aim. You had an aim to be fully staffed, but now what you have is a target. The number of vacancies you've got, the number of people that are going to leave in the next 12 months, that is the number of people that you will have to recruit over the next 12-month period if you want to be fully staffed at the end of it. And it is moving that from aim to target that will allow you to take the kind of planning, kind of action and activities to help you achieve your aim, rather than just being on a constant treadmill of recruitment, trying to get in wherever you can. Okay, so that's very key. Now, looking at it from a more regional kind of aspect, I'm going to go back to the same spreadsheet number 2, tab 2. Again, I'm going to look at column N, which is the number of vacancies, but this time, and remember, we're looking regionally here. We're looking regionally. Take column J, which is your number of agency workers as of the 30th of September. If you take the figure from column J and you take it away from column N, what that will tell you is if you have an overall shortage of workers within your region. Because if there are not the agency staff to recruit into those vacant posts, there is an overall shortage of labour. Not contingent labour, not permanent labour, but labour as a whole. And what does that mean? The impacts of an overall staffing shortage within a region. Well, first of all, you don't actually have temporary staff anymore. What do you mean we don't have temporary staff? You've just seen there's a figure there. That number's massive. Yes, but what you have is an adjunct to your permanent workforce. An agency worker or a temporary worker leaves one position, they will automatically be almost guaranteed to be able to pick up another position elsewhere because there is an overall shortage. So you don't actually have temporary staff from a regional perspective, they are an adjunct to your permanent workforce. Point 2, full staffing will be cyclical and unsustainable. What do you mean cyclical and unsustainable? If you go and you move and you achieve your aim of being fully staffed, you have been proactive and other councils are being reactive, but their reactive action will be to try and recruit more workers, and you as being fully staffed will be more vulnerable to losing workers to them than the other way around. So that's the kind of situation. So it would be cyclical and unsustainable. If you plan on leaving your job after 3 years, won't necessarily affect you. But if you are planning on staying and building a long-term relationship with your council on long-term aspects, it's going to be important. inflationary pressure on agency staffing, and indeed inflationary pressure on permanent staffing as well. MOUs, called the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding on Agency Staff, the West Midlands were the first to do it, and needless to say, also the best and most effective. The MOC, Memorandums of Cooperation, require active management. Increase in off-contract spend. That's a little bit harsh and possibly a little bit inaccurate. An increase in vulnerability to off-contract spend, which is much higher in cost, won't be audited, and not necessarily quality assured in the same way as your permanent staff, as your other temporary staff have to be by your MSP. Greater need for market engagement is absolutely key, and that links back to your MOU. And point 7, you are competing for high quality contingent labour. You might think, well, yes, of course we are. Yeah, but that is because it is an impact of your overall staffing shortage. And it's about addressing the issues that you face and understanding and the reasoning why they actually exist. Now, what can we do to help you? Okay, yes, there is a sales pitch that's coming. I have received backing to deliver 15 free workforce assessments, and these are going to be in a number of areas. Now, what are these about? Well, these are 2-hour sessions that can either be conducted face-to-face if it's allowed, but otherwise over Zoom, Teams or whatever video platform that you've got, in a number of particular areas, and in one of these areas you select, and at the end of it there will be definitive actions and recommendations for you to follow to improve your situation in one of the following areas. If you then want to continue and engage with us to try and provide those extra support or develop those matters, yes, of course we're there to help you and assist you in those. But that is it. Sustainable permanent staffing solutions, effective contingent supply, addressing off-contract spend. It is a significant issue out there, and we've done some research that we'll be developing and releasing over the next couple of months. Analysis of workforce statistics, which is your return to that DFE return. Review of recruitment processes, are they helping you or are they hindering you? And development of an engagement, that's staff engagement, and a retention strategy. And if you want help in an initial of those, like I say, 10% of local authorities will get access to a free initial workforce assessment. And if you're interested, contact me soon. And how can you do that? Well, I've got a website. The website's out there. It is Vric.Consulting. But if you've got an older browser and it doesn't behave on some older browsers, you might always have to put /home in there as well. Email steve@Vric.Consulting. Again, if you've got an overzealous junk mail folder, you might suddenly find some things disappearing there. Or at Twitter @ConsultingVric. And YouTube, subscribe. There'll be more videos such as this, and we're also going to be putting together a video wiki, Vricipedia, delivering information for staff within your teams on the workings of the agency and permanent staffing market, particularly with a view to children's social care, to help provide you with the ability to help yourselves going forward. And that's going to be in a bite-sized tutorial kind of format. So I hope that's been of some use to you. I hope that if you try and follow some of those objectives, you can move towards full staffing for your social work teams too. If I can help you, I'd love to be able to have that opportunity. My name's Stuart, I'm from Vric Consulting, and I wish you well. Take care, bye-bye.